guys, it's me, Megan, your favourite podcaster. Today I'm going to be introducing two books to you called The Wishing Spell and The Enchantress Returns from The Land of Stories by Chris Colfer. So this is a 6-book series, and the main theme of all 6 books is that Alex and Connor, which are the main characters of this book, they have to protect the fairy tale world and their own world because Alex is the fairy godmother and technically she is the heir of the fairy godmother in these 2 books. Later we'll find out that she is going to be the fairy godmother as the fairy godmother now is going to die. Spoilers alert. So in book 1, Alex and Connor travel into the Land of Stories book given by their grandma, who is the fairy godmother, and technically the one from Cinderella, the one who turned Pumpkin into a carriage, the same one. And in the Land of Stories, they face many obstacles while following their dad's diary. Well, they didn't know that it was their dad's diary, but they found out, and they were collecting the items for the wishing spell to go back home. So the wishing spell is a spell that makes whatever you wish for come true, and it can only be used twice. Their dad was the first one to use it. It was because he fell in love with Connor and Alex's mum, and his mum, which is the fairy godmother, didn't let him go to the other world because he was too young. So he used a wishing spell to go into to make a portal to go into the other world and marry Alex and Connor's mum. So they needed a lock of Rapunzel's hair, Cinderella's shoe, basket weaving from Queen Red Riding Hood's baskets, a tear from a fairy, Sleeping Beauty's spindle, and a jewel from Snow White's coffin, and finally Little Mermaid's knife, the knife that she was supposed to use to kill the prince on top of the ship. Then they get kidnapped by the wolves from Red Riding Hood. They were working for the evil queen in exchange for Queen Red Riding Hood. The evil queen is Snow White's evil stepmother, as you all know. And the evil queen gets the items from kids in order to free her boyfriend, who is called Mira, from her magic mirror. By the way, her boyfriend's Mira is M-I-R-A, not mirror, as in the one which reflects you. So he comes out of the mirror, but he dies because he's been left in there for too long. And the evil queen gets trapped in the magic mirror while the castle collapses as she was still grieving for her lost boyfriend. And in the second book, which is The Enchantress Returns, Alex and Connor's mum gets kidnapped by the Enchantress that cursed Sleeping Beauty with the spindle. She thinks that her mom is Alex, and Alex is the heir of the fairy godmother. So they go back to the fairy tale world using a portal in their grandmother's house. They collect the items for the Wand of Wonderment. So the Wand of Wonderment makes you have unstoppable power. They believe that it was the only thing to defeat the Enchantress. The most beloved things by the world's most hated people. So the world's most hated people are the Snow Queen in the Northern Mountains, the wicked stepmother from Cinderella, the evil queen, of course, from Snow White, the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk, the sea witch from The Little Mermaid, who gave The Little Mermaid a deal from her voice, and finally the Enchantress, who was trying to destroy the world. For the Snow Queen, they needed her ice scepter. For the wicked stepmother, her family heirloom. The evil queen, of course, her magic mirror. From the giant, his harp called Harper. The sea witch from Little Mermaid, she loves her jewels. And finally, the Enchantress. And at the end, they took away her pride, and that was her most beloved thing that was hers. So they use a wand to defeat the enchantress at the end, and they save their own mom. Also, there's this little extra bit where their mom gets married to her new boyfriend. So the characters in the story are Alex and Connor. Alex, she becomes a fairy and she gets a unicorn called Cornelius, and she is the heir of the fairy godmother. Connor, on the other hand, the last thing he wants is to be a fairy, and they are both the fairy godmother's grandchildren, and their dad died in a car crash. The fairy godmother, who is Alex and Connor's grandma and the person who spreads the fairy tales. Mother Goose, who is the fairy godmother's BFF and Leonardo da Vinci's girlfriend, because her code name is Mona Lisa. Froggy, who is the twins' first friend in the Land of Stories, because he rescued them when they didn't know where they were in the first book. And Froggy is half man, half frog, so you would be surprised to see a giant frog, half amphibian, half human, hopping around in the Land of Stories. And Froggy, he used to be a charming prince, but he gone missing, so the charming princes all went out looking for him, but they came across Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, and that's why they're both awake. If it wasn't for Froggy, then they won't be awake. The settings in the story are the fairy tale world, aka the Land of Stories, of course. In it, there's the Northern Kingdom, ruled by Snow White and King Charming. The Dwarf Forest, which is just like a random forest. The Corner Kingdom, which is ruled by Rapunzel and Sir William. The Charming Kingdom, who is ruled by Cinderella and King Charming. The Hidden Place, where the evil queen hides, waiting for her huntsman to come back with all the items for the wishing spell. The Sleeping Kingdom, ruled by Sleeping Beauty and King Charming. The Red Riding Hood Kingdom, ruled by Queen Red Riding Hood. And lastly, the Fairy Kingdom, organized by the Fairy Godmother and the Fairy Council. So there are these interesting facts that I want to share to you. In book 1, the face in the magic mirror is actually the evil queen's boyfriend. So exactly the one that she wanted to free from the magic mirror. It was actually her boyfriend that was in the face. When she went mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the prettiest of them all, the face was the one that said, "It's you, my dear queen." That's actually her boyfriend, Mirror. And in book 2, we find out that Rumpelstiltskin is actually the 8th brother of the dwarf family from Snow White, and he is the enchantress's best friend, technically the only friend. But he saves Alex when the enchantress fails to hit Alex with blast from the Wand of Wonderment because she wanted to destroy Alex for herself. But when the blast was just about to hit Alex, Rumpelstiltskin jumped in front of her and he got a full blast of magic. I like the book because it's action-packed and it has lots of adventures. There's like loads and loads of fairy tales in there, including Snow White, Rapunzel, Little Red Riding Hood, Little Bo Peep, Cinderella, Goldilocks, Sleeping Beauty, Jack and the Beanstalk, and loads of others. I also love the adjectives because I can picture it in my mind when I read it. Every single time I read it, it feels like reading a new book altogether. And when there's a twist in it, then I always be like, oh, I thought it would be like that even though I've read it for the millionth time. And I like how it's actually related to real life stuff. In it, there's the Mona Lisa, the Lady Godiva, and the Guinevere. They are all Mother Goose's codenames. Of course, the Mona Lisa is a portrait by the Italian Leo da Vinci, which she claims to have dated him. And the Brothers Grimm. The Brothers Grimm are Jacob and Wilhelm. They are both German publishers for folklore. And Hans Christian Andersen. He was a Danish author of Cinderella, Snow White, that sort of thing. So I would give this book a rating of 10 out of 10 for all 2 books. 4 because it's so action-packed and it's like, or like all books have like its own little adventure and happening. Like it's not like in the first book, they try to collect the wishing spell items, and in the second book they get captured by the evil queen, and the evil queen frees her boyfriend. It's not like that. It's like each book has its own little theme. 5 because it has so many connections. There's like so many fairy tales like Goldilocks, Jack and the Beanstalk, Little Red Riding Hood, etc., etc. And there's like things from Disney like Cinderella, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, those things. They're like really cool. And finally, 1, because I think the author is so clever to use overdue copyright stories for his books, like Goldilocks, as I just said. He uses those things for his book because the copyrights only last for 70 years since the death of the author. So it's been like a very long time since someone wrote the Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. So he used this opportunity to use these little poems or stories to make his book out of them. Thanks for listening to our podcast today. Stay tuned and I hope to see you in my other podcasts. Bye!